Welcome to today's episode. I am Durga Prasad, Salesforce consultant. Today we are continuing our journey into Salesforce Data Cloud. In the last episode, we covered data unification. Today we are going to take the next step into Data Cloud, segmentation and activation. Let's see what we have in our agenda today. We will be discussing about segmentation and activation and also segmentation process, and we will be creating a segment. Post that, we will be discussing about activation process and we will be creating an activation. Lastly, we are going to have a quick recap of essential points. Let's dive in. Let us understand what is segmentation. Segmentation is the process in which we will be dividing our data into meaningful groups. These groups can be divided based on the common criteria which our data might have. By creating the segments, we will be able to understand, target, and engage with the customers effectively. We can create these segments based on our data model data. For example, imagine a company that sells sports equipment. They can segment their customer base into different groups based on criteria such as age, gender, sport, and purchasing behavior. Activation. What exactly is the activation? Let's say we have created a customer segment in Data Cloud, like a group of frequent buyers for certain sports equipment. Now, we want to send this segmented data to our marketing cloud platform to run a targeted campaign. The process of sending this data to marketing cloud is called activation. Activation utilizes the activation target to send the data to marketing cloud or any other platforms. We can create segments on top of profile data model objects like individual or unified individual. And also, we will be able to create various types of segments like standard segment, waterfall segment, or real-time segment. Each of these segments can be used in various scenarios. Like for suppose, if we have a real-time data which is coming in milliseconds and we wanted to create a segment on top of it, we will be able to use a real-time segment. Once a segment is published, the data will be returned to the segment membership DMO in Data Cloud. Now, let us understand what we will be able to see on the segmentation canvas. In the segmentation canvas, we will be able to see direct attributes and related attributes. These will be related to the segment on data model object. And also we will be able to define our criteria, how exactly we wanted to segment our data on. We will be able to use various operators that we can apply for defining our logic. And also we can see the segment population count for the criteria which we have defined within the segment without publishing the segment by clicking on save. Now, let's walk through a practical example for creating a segment for customers who placed order on both platforms and purchased a product related to cycling. Once we have logged in into the org, click on the segments. In the segments, click on the new button, select the use a visual builder and select the standard segment option. Click on next. Here we need to select the data space and give a segment name. For segment on, we need to select on which data model object we are going to segment. In this case, we are going to select the unified individual and you can give a description also. Click on next. Select the publish type as standard publish. And for the publish schedule, we have three options: do not refresh, 12 hours and 24 hours. If we want the segmentation job to refresh at every 12 hours interval, we can select that 12 hours and similarly 24 hours. Right now, we are going to leave the do not refresh as the default option. Click on save. Once the segment is saved, this is the segmentation canvas where we will be able to define our criteria. In the direct attributes, you will be able to see the fields related to the unified individual. And in the related attributes, The objects related to the unified individual will be available under the related attributes. As we wanted to find the customers who placed orders in both system for bikes, I'm going to first select the e-bikes, and we have a field order source, and I'm going to select the source as e-bike CRM. We have information available in sales order DMO as well. So let me drag and drop the order source and select the specific value which we wanted to define the criteria on. If you see here, we are having the values populated automatically without entering anything. This is because of the enable value suggestions option that we have checked in when we are creating a custom field. Let me select again the ecom online, click on done. Now click on save to see the segment population. Now let's click on the segment order product and select the specific product which we wanted to find the population for. I'm going to select the bikes, click on done. I'm going to assign the logic for these both rules as n and overall the logic as n. Now click on save. We have the segment population now as 28. Click on done. Activation. For whatever data which was generated as part of the segmentation, we will be able to send that data to an external platform or an activation platform using activation. The activation process utilizes the data that is available in the DMOs. The objects can be like individual attributes or contact point attributes, unified individual attributes, and segment membership data. Once we have the data available in our objects, we need to define an activation target to where our data needs to be sent. The activation target will store the authentication and authorization information related to that specific platform. Post that, we need to define an activation target. This particular activation target will hold the information related to the attributes that can be related to individual contact point or a unified individual information that was generated as part of the identity resolution, and also the segment membership information. Apart from this, we can also include the information related to our calculated insights as well. Let's walk through a practical example for creating an activation to HomeOr for the segmented data. To send the segmented data to Data Cloud HomeOr. In order to do that, first let us create an activation target. Click on the activation targets, click New, select the Data Cloud and click Next. Give a name to the activation target and select the data space. Click on Save. We have now the activation target. Now let us go back to our segment and create a activation. Click New and select the activation target which we have created previously. The activation membership is by default selected based on the segment. Now click on Continue. I'm going to include the email attributes for contact point. Click on Next. Here we can include both direct attributes as well as related attributes. Now let us include the direct attributes. Drag and drop the first name, last name. Now let me include the information related to the orders like order number, order source, and who is the customer. Click on Home. And also I'm going to include the sales order product type. Click on Save. Now these are the attributes that are included. Click on Next. Let me add the sorting order for this. I want to sort this based on the order number ascending. Similarly, based on the product type ascending. Click on next. Now let us give a name to the activation. I'm going to leave the refresh type as incremental. Click on save. We have created an activation, and once the activation is successful, we will be having a record in the activation history. Now let us go back to our segments and publish the segment in order to send the data to our home org. Without publishing the segment, we won't be able to send the data to that specific platform which we have created the activation for. Once the segment processing is completed, we will be able to see the publish status as success, and also there will be publish history related to the segment. Now let us see what is the data that was sent to our activation target. We can check the data in the Data Explorer, select the object as data model object, and in the object you will be able to see activation audience for home org. This will be the information, and these are the number of records that are sent to the home org. Similarly, we will be able to see whenever a segment is published, the relevant data model objects will be updated. It can be the individual history or the unified individual history or the latest. These objects will hold the information related to the changes for whatever population that was included into the segment. Let's have a quick recap. Always define a goal for what we are going to segment on, and also understand what exactly are the attributes that we are going to use from our data model. This will allow us to create targeted segments that align with these goals. Once a segment is created, we need to validate the results that are populated by the segment and also optimize the results by modifying the criteria. Remember that segmentation and activation are distinct processes. Once a segment is published, then only the data will be available for activation. Only published segments data can be sent to the activation platforms. When we are preparing an activation, it is crucial to understand which attributes from our data model can be included in the activation process, considering the limitations. And that's a wrap for today's episode on segmentation and activation. In our upcoming episodes, we will explore more features of Data Cloud. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our Salesforce Chronicles YouTube channel for more updates. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.